welcome to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
And Jerry, we have news!
Breaking news.
Jerry!
Well, not really breaking anymore, but it was breaking earlier today.
It was breaking when it first happened. That's true. Baker Mayfield has been named the starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers 2022. Finally, the obvious has happened.
The obvious has happened. I personally feel this was at least a week too late. Like, it should have happened a week ago. Go ahead. I mean, it already, practice-wise, he was the one playing better. You know, he looked it in the preseason game. Like, I just wish they would have named it last week. Get it out. And then Sam Darnold could have played because it just made no sense still in my head that they didn't have either quarterback play, and then they don't even have a practice before they name. What? Why? Why?
Do you think that the Patriots' two practices made this decision, or was this decision already made a couple of weeks ago?
Oh, this was made.
Yeah. So why not let him play with the starters? Like, that's my thing. Why not let him have all the reps with the ones and get his timing down if you know this is your starting quarterback?
Well, again, Matt Rhule won the competition. I get that because I get the concept of having the competition. You want the other players to know that they have to. But last year they let Sam Darnold just walk in. He's our starter. He's our starter. He didn't have to compete.
Well, who was that? Who else was there?
I mean,
Walker and Will Greer. Like,
yeah. No, I get that.
He's obviously going to start over those guys.
Yeah, I understand that.
This year, honestly, I think Baker coming in, it's Sam Darnold. Like,
exactly.
Baker's obviously better than Sam Darnold.
That's exactly my point, though. Why would you not have a competition last year and have one this year? It seems like Matt Rhule is like doing two different strategies, but
yeah,
I don't know. I wish you would have just named it last week. It would have made much more sense. Because you didn't start your starters last week, even though the Patriots started their starters. And at least that would have made sense. But having Sam Darnold and Baker not play last week, it was...
Listen, Jerry, when you can get 2 full quarters of P.J. Walker, you have to do it.
If you're Matt Rhule, I guess so.
You have to see more of that guy. Matt Corral has a Liz Frank injury. We talked about that the other day. Does P.J. make the team?
I think he gets on practice squad. They could sign 6 veteran to the practice squad now. I think that's exactly what they'll do. Because no one's going to sign.
He gets cut.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as no one signs him, you think he's back on the practice squad. And I agree with
that. That's what my thought is. They would just stash him there in case of an emergency, break glass. Because Sam Darnold, no one's trading for him. Not with that cap hit. After watching P.J. Walker, I don't want him as our lone backup anyways. I would prefer at least Sam Darnold had showed some glimpses of, last year that maybe, he could suffice for a week or two.
Right. Yeah. Like we said last week, in spot duty, you could do worse than Sam Darnold as your backup quarterback. But you could also do a lot worse than Baker Mayfield as your starting quarterback. And I think the Panthers made the right decision here. It's going to be a really fun week 1 playing against Cleveland. Obviously his old team, his old team, like, not even that long ago.
No.
He knows everything about that defense. He knows everything about that offense. He should be able to he's going to be as prepared as any quarterback could be going against that team. Right.
Correct. They probably changed the language and everything else like they typically do in the offseason or in the new season, but he's going to know tells.
Guys. Yeah. He knows their weaknesses. Yeah.
So I'm hoping Baker comes in, but the big thing for me on that game is our run defense. But we'll go in that when
we'll talk about that in a couple of weeks. Yeah. But yeah, so this is good news. This is exciting. I haven't seen anyone upset about this decision other than wondering why it didn't happen sooner, wondering why Baker hasn't gotten more reps with the ones, which completely understandable. I feel the same way. I had a long Twitter conversation today with a guy who didn't seem to understand why we felt the way we felt about the competition dragging out as long as it did. but I think we've gone over that enough on this podcast to say why we feel that way. So
yeah, it just feels like you're putting him behind the 8 ball. The good news is he has 3 weeks now to get all the starting reps. You know, him, Icky, Brady Christensen, all those starting reps that I feel like those 3 desperately need to get better. Also, you know, you got players coming back. He has to build. That's part of the problem with one of his incompletion was he wasn't on the same page as Zylstra. You know, he was hoping that he would come back, and he was still running the fly route. You gotta know what each other's.
Yeah, you gotta get the timing down. You gotta see how these guys move, where they like to if they like to go off script, you gotta know when they like to go off script and where and what they're gonna do. You know, that you can only get that by playing with them, right?
Yeah, I think it was Peyton Manning talking about how him and Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne, like, they would line up, look at the defense, and they would just look at each other and immediately knew what the other one was thinking, what route they wanted to attack this concept at. I mean, obviously, Peyton Manning's completely different than Baker Mayfield.
Sure,
I don't want to give that off,
and
but
Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison are different than the guys we have. I mean, and I'm not saying that, you know, another 2 weeks, 3 weeks of practice would have made the timing perfect. It's not going to be perfect until probably middle through the season or on. But it would have been a little better. It would have been a little better come week 1 when you're playing in a game that Baker Mayfield desperately wants to win, that we as Panthers fans desperately want to see the Panthers win for a multitude of reasons. So yeah, it just would have been nice to see a little bit more, to give him more of an opportunity to succeed early in the season. You know, when the schedule honestly is kind of soft and winnable, right?
Yeah, and this week, at least in the preseason, he's going to go against the Bills, which, again, they're going to play a bit of vanilla defense. They're going to add a couple wrinkles, but at least they're a good defense for him to go against. I mean, it's not...
That's a Super Bowl team.
Yeah, Super Bowl contender, not a question in my mind they have a chance. Yeah. So I'm really glad we're going against them this week, even if it might be ugly, but at least they get the good practice.
All we want to see is Baker and the first team offense do well, and the first team defense, you know,
do well. I mean,
that's all we want to see.
I personally want to see Brandon Smith light it up, you know.
Of course. Yeah, we have our favorites. Shout out to Mark McGriff, by the way, the guy on Twitter that I was going back and forth with. Heated discussion, but it ended well, and I like conversations like that. So, all right. Anything else about Baker, or we want to kind of move into some of the more recent occurrences here?
I'm happy for him. I think he from all training camp notes and stuff, he outplayed Sam Darnold. And Sam Darnold came out and said that he felt it was a fair competition, that Baker won. So,
well, Baker's the better player. I mean, that's why they brought him in. They brought him in to start.
Exactly.
And he won the job. So.
And everybody's seen it happen. Like, Baker's just better. 4 years in the league. Look at their stats. Look what they've accomplished. Look at the throws. We know who was better. I hate to say it, not to be mean, but yeah.
And Baker had a better team.
Yeah.
More recently, but before both of those guys were drafted, both of those franchises were dumpster fires.
Correct.
You know, you couldn't say that the Browns were any better than the Jets for like the previous 20 years.
I would actually argue the other way around, saying the Jets at least had more recent winnings.
Right. I mean, Baker shows up, and they made some other good moves as well. But you get the quarterback at least good, you can do some things, and that's what they did. So.
And Baker, I think he could be a better quarterback. A 12 to 15 type of quarterback in the league. And I think this team can do some damage. That's all we're hoping for. We're not expecting Tom Brady. We're not expecting premier quarterback play from him.
Yeah.
So
we would love it if that happened. It's not going to happen. We have to be realistic. But the fact is, and it is a fact, Baker Mayfield is the best quarterback on this roster.
Oh yeah.
Right now.
Hands down.
I mean, that's just the way it is. Matt Corral maybe someday, but right now, Baker is the guy, and we're excited about it. Some of the guys that aren't the guy, Jerry, Panthers made some cuts today, and one a couple of days ago we haven't talked about yet either. But tell us who is no longer on the team.
Linebacker Kamal Martin, offensive tackle Austin Pleasance, and linebacker Kalen Tolson. Martin and Tolson, honestly, I didn't even see them at all in the preseason. I didn't hear any notes. Pleasance I saw, and I understand why he's being released. He was god awful. I hope he gets better, catches on with another team. But watching him in the preseason, he got bulldozed. He was not an NFL tackle. He caused a few sacks. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, not everyone's going to make the team. He was obviously a fringe guy anyway. That is that position, the offensive line. You want everybody that you can get on there. He obviously wasn't good enough. Martin and Tolson being linebackers, again, we've talked about the linebacker core seemingly coming into the training camp was the weakest part of the team, but Brandon Smith has really stepped up. Shaq, we'll talk about in a minute. He's back.
Frankie Louvu has made a couple plays and sounded really good in camp in like the notes, and even
Corey
at the New
Littleton
England practice, he picked off Mac Jones a couple times. So
so not as bad a position as we initially thought. So not going to miss those guys either. Some guys coming back to the team from not being able to practice. Terrace Marshall Jr. back, not in a red jersey. Matt Rhule kind of called him out the other day, and he responded by getting out there on the practice field.
And rightfully so. I mean, second-round pick has constantly been injured, and you've been on him pretty hard this offseason. I kept saying, this year. And honestly, I'm teetering on that side of, hey, if he can't stay healthy, we have some other guys that are snapping at the bits to play.
Yeah. CJ Saunders being one of them, who also back at practice today.
Correct. I mean, I'm shocked. I thought he was going to be out longer, but if he's already back,
too. Yeah,
you kind of wonder if he's not forcing himself back, because obviously medical staff would not let him play. But he's playing through being hurt, in my opinion. I assume he probably still has some soreness and stuff like that, but he understands what this last few weeks before the cut is, and he's trying to make it. I think that'll go a long way too.
Absolutely. Matt Rhule loves that. He loves guys playing through injuries. And as much as you don't want to see, especially your top guys, playing through any sort of injury in the offseason, guys like CJ Saunders who want to make the team are going to do everything they can to show that they want to make the team and that they're good enough to make the team. So happy that he's back. And then Shaq Thompson, a guy that, again, I was starting to be a little concerned that he may not be there week one. But he is back at practice, so that's excellent news.
Yeah, I was getting nervous. Look, I have a feeling he'll be back. He'll be 100%. But I was getting nervous. I'm not going to lie. Because, again, that linebacking core is not that deep. Davian Wilson, Frankie Louvu, Corey Littleton, Brandon Smith, and those are the guys I can name off the top of my head.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much. Those are the guys that are going to play. You may have. God, what's his name? I'm blanking. Really good player at safety, Chin. You may have him slide down and play some linebacker here and there too.
Especially with Xavier Woods, and Xavier Woods could do that too.
Yeah. But Shaq being back is huge. It's this guy's when he's right, he's like a top 10, 12 linebacker in the league. So you getting a guy like that back at practice, kind of one of your leaders on defenses, can't be too excited about that. Speaking of practice, Jerry, not a great practice today for the team, honestly.
No, not at all. Matt Rhule stopped the practice today because the team had too many miscues, too many mistakes, too many penalties. That was his quote. And it sounds like I heard Baker fumbled a snap. Supposedly it was pretty ugly.
Yeah, I heard Baker was throwing the ball all over the place. For the day that you get, told that
Named.
you're going to be the starting quarterback, to have a bad practice, not great. But this is why we have training camp. This is why we have practices. They get this stuff out of the way. I think was this their first practice since the game Friday?
Okay. Correct.
So
and that was kind of the issue with me being like, why did they wait till today to name it? If they already knew, why not name it before the game? Let Sam Darnold show what he has. Yeah. But whatever.
I guess it was so bad that after the practice, players had a players-only meeting. Which a lot of times is not a good thing. But I think in this case, I don't think we should look too deep into it. A lot of times your player-only meeting, it's
when the season's going downhill.
Yeah. The coach is about to get fired.
Yeah.
That's not the case for this players-only meeting. I think it's good. I think it shows some leadership there on the team. Obviously, they knew they had a really bad practice, so they felt like they needed to kind of get some stuff off their chests. And I would love to have been a fly on the wall to see,
who really spoke up and who was really the leaders in there. I think Brian Burns probably, because I know he's been really trying to put himself out there more as a vocal leader. And I'm pretty sure he did it. They're just calling each other. Yeah, Shaq definitely.
Was in there. Baker, I bet Baker's got a mouth on him. I'm sure he had some stuff to say as well.
Yeah.
And then Sam was probably like, yeah, I agree. Yeah. Sam, very understated, disappointed that he did not get made the starting quarterback. Go watch his press conference if you get a chance. It's just classic Sam Darnold.
I'm sure. He probably came into the league thinking he was going to be the next Peyton Manning, and unfortunately, it hasn't worked out. It didn't work out here.
It did not. All right, well, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Support for MeowMix, a Carolina Panthers podcast, is brought to you by Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package is the ultimate in men's hygiene. Join over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code MeowMix. That's at manscaped.com. 6 million men equals 12 million balls, give or take a few balls here or there.
First off, the Lawnmower 4.0. This trimmer is the future of grooming and, dare I say, greatest ball trimmer ever. The fourth generation
Jerry
trimmer...
would know. Try them all.
The fourth generation... I have tried a few. The fourth generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents that, thanks to advanced skin-safe technology, the Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof and also has a 4,000K LED spotlight to reach in those hard-to-see areas.
Yeah, the Weed Whacker is also waterproof and provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs on those delicate nose holes. Everybody, yeah. And, they throw in some free gifts for you. You get a free travel bag, free pair of boxers, which are actually very comfortable. I wear them quite a bit. So it's time to take care of yourself. Go to manscaped.com, get 20% off and free shipping with code MeowMixPodcast.
All right, you can get 20% off and free shipping with the code MeowMixPodcast at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code MeowMix. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
All right, and now back to the show.
We don't have much more. We will be back with before August 30th for a breakdown of our presumed 53-man roster, and we also have the Buffalo Bills game. Any other thoughts right now?
No, not really. I feel like, things are coming together. It's getting closer, man. We're just a couple of weeks away now. Or actually, we're like 3 weeks away still.
3 weeks away, man.
It
That's
just feels like so much. Like so much has already gone on, but we're still at September 11th. I mean, yesterday that's 3 weeks away. Normally we'd be 2 weeks away, I guess.
Yeah, and with the 4 weeks, they used to cut down to 53 that week, like after that fourth preseason game. Now that they're cut down after the third one, we have like an extra week. Because I just realized that cut down to 53 is in 8 days from us recording this. And I was like, oh man, we got to do the Bills game and then do our 53-man roster. Whew, before the 53-man roster actually comes out.
Yep. So that Bills game's Friday night. So I guess we'll be back, maybe Wednesday?
Yeah, I think Thursday. We'll wait on preseason game again. And I like seeing the PFF grades, especially for some of the players. Now, if they start making cuts and stuff like that, we may jump on a little earlier, but...
Yeah, but we'll be back to preview that game, and I think that's going to do it, Jerry.
Yep, we want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. If you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on our show. And please support the podcast by supporting our sponsors at cbdx.com. Use promo code MEOW, and you'll get 20% off. And Manscaped, use promo code MEOWMix.
All right, everyone. Well, like I said, we'll be back in a few days to preview the Bills-Panthers preseason finale. Until then, everybody stay safe out there and keep pounding.